Today we're going to talk about 3 lessons in my life that might help you deal with the uncertainty in life and the fact that things sometimes just aren't controllable. And when I'm talking about this, I want to say that these are just conclusions that I personally have come to. Feel free to disagree in the comments if you disagree with something I say, because I could be wrong and this is just what I think right now. How I could think about this could change in the future. So the first one would be that most things in life aren't deterministic, they're rather probabilistic. And by that I just mean that most things in life can't really be determined. We can only increase the probability of certain things happening. So for example, when it comes to health, we can't 100% avoid getting a certain illness. We can just do our best to prevent disease. But there's no way we can 100% control it because of our genes, for example, and so forth. And I used to somehow think that if you just work hard enough, if you work really, really hard, then you will definitely be successful at some point in life. And nowadays, I definitely don't agree with that. And Tom Bilyeu also once said, which I found really intelligent, working really hard doesn't guarantee success, but not working really hard guarantees failure. Working really hard only increases the probability that you will become successful, but you can work really, really hard and not get the results in the end. And also when it comes to your social life, you can try to be as kind as possible, do your best to treat other people well, but people are going to have their opinion about you, and some people will just not necessarily like you as much. Not necessarily because you didn't try hard enough, but just because you're not their person, kind of. And you can't, by being extremely kind, control whether other people like you or not. And anyway, you shouldn't be kind just because you want other people to see you in a good light. You should be kind from a genuine desire to actually help other people anyway. But obviously if you don't treat other people well, if you behave really badly, they're not going to like you. It's just that being kind increases the probability that people will find you charismatic. In fact, when it comes to relationships in general, I think trying too hard can often be very, very off-putting, and then you come across as needy, and that's definitely not what you want. So just be as kind as you genuinely are. Try to be as kind as possible, but not because of what other people might think of you, because you can't control that. And this basically leads me to the second lesson, that you can't make anyone love you, no matter how hard you try. Of course, if you're nice to them, then they'll probably think you're a good person, and in the early stages of dating and so on, everyone tries to show their best sides and, hide their bad sides. Sometimes, even if you do try to do your best, you might just certainly not be the type of person that that person would like, or like as much. You should never, ever, ever base your opinion of yourself on how other people think about you, or especially about how a certain person thinks about you, because that can change so quickly. Even when it comes to people who did like you once upon a time, it can easily happen that all of a sudden they don't anymore, or life just happens, and then even that person that did find you really great at the beginning doesn't find you great anymore. And that's why you don't want to base your opinion of yourself on other people's opinions, especially when you somehow think of these love stories, or I don't know, when you think of couples in general, they all tell each other in the beginning that I will stay with you forever, and then even though they thought that you were this incredible person, they then after a while change their mind and then all of a sudden break up with you also. Especially if you come across someone with borderline. They tend to idealize people, and then once they notice that they're not 100% perfect, tend to devaluate them pretty quickly. So it's either you're an angel or you're the devil, kind of. So especially if you somehow come into contact with someone who might have borderline, you definitely don't want to base your opinion of yourself on what they think about you, because it can change so quickly. So what I think is the healthier option the healthier way to decide how you want to think about yourself is to basically know what your values are, what you stand for, what's important to you, how you want to act in life, how you want to behave, and just try to, as much as possible, act in alignment according to what these values of yours are. So basically that you behave as well as possible according to your own moral compass. Try as much as possible to live up to that, but not to base your opinions on what other people might think of you. Now, I definitely don't want to communicate the message that you shouldn't care at all about what other people think of you, as in that when someone points out a weakness of yours, that you somehow ignore them and don't think like, oh, I don't care about what other people think about me. Because if someone who actually cares about you in a loving way tells you, listen, I love you a lot, but this is a weakness of yours and you may want to reflect on that or change that a bit, because it might be better for you in general, for all your relationships, not only the friendship between us two, then you should definitely think about what this person said, see how you could actually improve on that weakness if someone did it in a loving manner and actually told you that because they actually care about you. Either way, we should never depend on anyone else's validation or approval for our own confidence. We should give validation to ourselves by feeling confident about us sticking to our own values. Now, if you want to hear about more lessons, you can watch this video here.